Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, innovating, and amazing Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, the one, the only master propaganda hero, like defender of the fatherland, off here to a 1v1 on Vilshanka. In the west, it is Kobal fighting for the British Empire, the Commonwealth. Here with the 11th Armoured Division featuring Royal Artillery, Mobile Assault, and Vanguard. In the east, it is Acehiro fighting for the Oberkommando Germany, Deutschland. Here with the, let's just go with 9th SS Panzer Division. And we got here Overwatch featuring Jaegers, early warning systems for the Fatherland howitzers, and the sector sortability Volksgrenadiers versus a triple section start. And as always, a big hearty thanks to my Patreon supporters out there and their generous support. The Propagandacast would not be able to keep doing what it does. So big thanks to all those other people who follow the heroic example and pledge on Patreon themselves, or they can donate via PayPal. Links are in the video description, and if you're in the market for pre-owning companies fee, you can do so with the link in the comments. Use the code STUG3G and I get a small part of the sale. And unless you know, comment, like, share, subscribe, press the bell button. So, finding back time in the centre, here's the politics and the sections clash of that centre victory point here. Typically see on Vilshanka a lot of the early fighting happening here. There's like 2 heavy points to cover there, so in fact you'll see some players as rush in to actually wire off here, and that way make it hard for the other players to then sort of, you know, get a good position on the centre victory point. Meanwhile, northbound we got forces there, and similar southbound there for Kobal. Bit the same here from Acehiro. That looks like he may in fact be sending another squad to the centre. Clearly keen on gaining control of the centre victory point here against Kobal and the British Empire. He sends in more troops here against the English. Following up here with the Kobal wagon to add a bit of motorization. Kobal here going for the universal carrier there. We shall of course have to see what he does for that section. Then pushing up here, of course, realizing that his car in danger here from German encroachment. Kobal rushes in his men here to put a halt to this fiendish Germanic move. More section unit here again, basically forcing him to respond to this. Good moving in some ways then for Acehiro. Kobal wagon ready. Fierce fighting erupts now around the carve point here as Kobal is moving in everything to prevent here Acehiro from cutting off his fuel supply here and possibly even digging in, which will make it even harder then for Kobal to regain control of it. Universal Care ready here. Kobal moving towards the centre as well here. In the south we got the Sturm Pioneer also now being moved towards the centre here. Really getting fierce here. The forces banking off here. And just a large continued skirmish here between Acehiro and Kobal. Got the Universal Care now arriving here. We do also have tech on the way then now for Kobal, meaning the Vickers K upgrade is likely going to happen soon here. Third full squad there for Acehiro. Sturm Pioneer there being slowly flanked out here by the British. Both taking losses here from the sections. Kobal sending out here. Strict enforcing. Another full squad there almost done here for Acehiro. Kobal charging in the Sturm Pioneer there. Flanked section there taking a lot of damage, and the third full squad is ready here for Acehiro. Kobal that's going to get knocked out. It's going to be a helpful kill here for Kobal in the early game versus Acehiro, and will certainly leave Acehiro notably less mobile. And there you go, Kobal goes up in flames, barely did anything as well there, so a rather significant manpower blow here to Acehiro, which definitely gives Kobal then, I think, a bit of an edge here with his opponent, in particular once the Universal Care there gets upgraded with the Vickers K, which is going to make things further uncomfortable here for Acehiro's forces. He will undoubtedly have to go for a Kedmeth, I think, to counter that, at least, you know, Panzer Shreks and hope to get lucky. Moving straight ahead here, got the forces flanking up here. Of course, no Panzerfaust here for Acehiro, doesn't have the truck. He is going for one, but will also need to set it up, and then, in case of the battle headquarters, further upgrade it before he then unlocks the Panzerfaust. South side here, Kobal moving forward to their ground points here and there. Was looking a bit rough there, but with a few moves, Kobal has quickly situated himself into a relatively strong position there versus his Axis opponent. Samples on the way there for Kobal. Mines, repairs, and of course just a smaller assault element. Square of how much step this up for the battle headquarters here for Acehiro, no surprise. Full screen is with the Universal Carrier. Carp on the hit though. Still kind of connected briefly through the centre victory point, but now with that being rendered neutral, this cuts off all of Acehiro's southern resources here, leaving Kobal very much with the upper hand, fuel and munitions wise. Samples out, also worth noting he has both of his sections, so that way 5-man teams. Sturm Pioneer with the Panzer here for Acehiro, the Raketen Panzerbüchse. Sections there around the centre there as Acehiro launches forwards there. Further up north here, folks, got the point here. Got the carve point. As for Kobal, not much else for now. Could consider the officer, could consider Vickers. Anti-tank guns, I suppose, he was really concerned about something armoured coming his way. Sappers, Sturmpionier, Volkswagen close with that centre victory point once more. Sappers low on health, they could risk being wiped. And there you go, Unmasker here with the suppressor fire. But no pushback by the Panzerschreck. Still, the Sturmpionier are exposed. They're still caught in a deadly crossfire, and ultimately Acehiro will have to treat them or lose them, which would be a huge blow here to Acehiro in the early game, which may actually be difficult to recover from. Upgrade done there. I imagine, okay, flak half-track first, about to say medics first, but clearly Acehiro wants something a bit more mechanized versus opponent, so we'll be bringing in the flak half-track. As for Kobal, we got the armor carding prepared, the AC Mark III. Straight for the fuel point here with the Volksgrenadier, looking to slow down their Kobal's fuel economy. Not a bad idea. Medical supplies out here from the Sturmpionier. Thumbs up to that. Sappers there, they're very low and healthy. Kobal definitely pushing his luck a bit far with them, but looks like he will be able to get away with it somewhat. Still, pretty risky there by Kobal. Pretty risky. Black half-track ready there for Acehiro. Forward to taking out the sections. Another section here for Kobal. No sign of a commander yet there from him, though. Good troops being moved in towards the centre here. Big push here from Kobal against Acehiro. His flak half-track those around, of course, will help here versus all the infantry. Provides explosive anti-infantry firepower and, of course, suppressive firepower. Of course, Kobal responds to this with the AC Mark III. Even, I believe, has a bulletin for that, for increased movement speed. Which certainly only makes it better. Still no commander here for Kobal. Keine Kommandant. Sturmpionier pushing forward, backed up now by the Volkswagen and the flak half-track here. He's looking for a much stronger assault column here, and looks like he is once more going for the carve point here against Kobal. At this stage, Kobal may, of course, in the future consider mining off the carve point to make it a bit harder for Acehiro to make these kind of pushes here without suffering some losses. Got the point right neutral, leaving the flak half-track to cover, or not. Perhaps concerned that Kobal, of course, may be going for anti-tank guns, or the AC Mark III. Which, in fact, he is going for. Back here, reinforcing healing there for Acehiro. So far, though, I mean, despite having gone for Overwatch, which means Jaegers, we've actually yet to see any Jaegers out of Acehiro here. Probably just the sheer pressure from Kobal, but I would expect them down the road here. I would very much expect them. University finding way here, close to 22 on them. AC Mark III rolling forwards in the game with a single Panzerschreck. It's going to be tough to stop that one. It's going to be tough. Not impossible, but... And now one Panzerschreck versus the AC Mark III will take a lot of work here. And a lot of Panzerfaust as well, or some well-placed mines. We'll have to see how that exactly is going to work out there for Acehiro, though I'd expect a Academy in response to the AC Mark III. Sappers caught here as they charge the full screen of the flak half-track provides just enough covering fire here. But at the same time, by doing it this way, he also gives himself ample warning time if Kobal decides to dive after the flak half-track with the AC, so... There's a bit of sense as to what Acehiro is doing, but there you go. Kind of a gap there now. Panzer team they've been up to try and at least block such a move, and there you go. Good hit there. But it would appear Acehiro is flooding with a manpower here, perhaps not entirely sure what he wants to do here. He certainly has several paths to take. The question is, what does he prioritize against Kobal and the British Empire? Got some Jaegers out now, adding the G33 Marksman Rifle. AC blasting away, they got the flak half coming up there. Overall, Kobal's got most of the map. He's got the triple cap there on Acehiro in terms of victory points. Meaning victory points can steadily bleed up at a fairly rapid pace here, which could become a problem for Acehiro if this allows us to have gone for too long. Without interruption, we got some Sturmgewehrs up there. As for Kobal, not much else, they're just more infantry here. Could, of course, also consider a Vickers heavy machine gun team, or some 6-pounder guns. North here, Fulskers rather in the section there. Still no commander for Kobal either. I mean, I suppose it could end up going for Royal Artillery for a Valentine tank here. Could be Mobile Assault Stealth for commandos, maybe Mortar if he needs it. Or Vanguard, obviously, for gliders, but also the Crocodile and this strafing support. So there's certainly some arguments here for either of the 3 commanders right now here for Kobal. The question is, what does it go for in the first place? And there you go, it is Royal Artillery, so that increased the chance of a Valentine tank to back up his AC, which would definitely give him more armor now here versus Acehiro, which would send just one Panzerschreck Would be quite a headache for Acehiro. Would definitely force some Rakettenwerfers before it's too late. The south, the British forces advancing the air could of course threaten the fuel point. We can see that already Acehiro realizing this is dispatching infantry to at least slow this down until he can bring in more forces. Rakettenwerfer there for Acehiro. Very good. Kobal there could, I believe, actually start, yep, going for the Valentine tank. He does go for it. Sections the flak half track. Unsurprised, the assaults are not pretty for the infantry section. AC also taking a bit of range there. South here, a bit of skirmishing, occupying a pretty decent position here. Acehiro can basically prevent Kobal from easily just winning the fuel point now. But that is about it he can do for now to bring in some more forces. The KMF on the way there. But at the same time, the Valentine tank is right around the corner up north here. Flak half track tearing into Kobal's forces here. It very much feels a bit like a stalemate here between Acehiro and Kobal over the centre, but at least only for now. Got the tank almost ready here for Kobal. Panzer on the Universal Carrier. AC charging on the flak half track round to Panzerfaust's range here. A bold manoeuvre here by Kobal. Got the Sturmpionier suppressed flak half track dying out. We got the KMF ready here. Could take out the AC Mark III. There we go. Excellent hit from the rocket there. One more shot. We got lots of smoke being deployed here. It's practically a foggy area now here. Sappers being up out the flak half track, but now the surprise twist is coming from Kobal. It is the Valentine tank racing straight into the flank of the flak half track here with its 75mm cannon, and there you go. Rex Aceus, well, flak half track here. He did lose the AC Mark III, which isn't great for Kobal either, but he still has a tank, and Acero's got, well, no tanks. Fun fact about the Valentine tank, at this point it mostly used for, well, basically artillery observation and maybe some command tanks as mentioned here. But allies, while they actually were still making a lot of Valentine tanks even late into the war, the vast majority of Valentine tanks actually went to the Soviets. Because the Soviets really loved it for the reconnaissance units, though also Razvedki. So apparently it was quite good there, so it was heavily used by them there. So fun fact on that one, fun fact. Sturmpionier Jägers full to tank in the centre here. North here, full party tank engaged there with the Universal Carrier and the Valentine tank, but he gets too close. He could risk losing the Universal Carrier to the Pantherfaust, but no, too much going in the face here, and he does not risk it. In part because the Valentine tank could murder his men by the time they get off the Pantherfaust. Truck setting up here, I imagine, for Acehiro. Will Kobal's Valentine tank be able to get the wipe in the full screen of the ears? Close call here, but no, and there you go. The Kenneth Lancer got shot there through the rear arm of the Valentine tank. In the centre, another push here by Acehiro to reclaim the centre from the British. Schwerer Panzergürtel up there for Acehiro. MG-34 here to replace the lost flak half track, at least in terms of suppression. Not so much in dealing with light vehicles. All enforcement ceiling. We also got a total of 5 sections now here for Kobal. That is a lot of infantry to put pressure on the Germans with. Sturmpionier moving in, they're hunting down that Valentine tank here. Going forward with a Panzerschreck here. Another great shot. Then the Valentine tank is down to just 1/3 of its health total here. Kobal very wisely just dodges the hell out of there with the Valentine tank before it gets knocked out by those dastardly Germans. Schwerer Panzer quarters up their face here. Should definitely consider some authorization for it soon. Push out the centre. Question now at this point is Kobal intent to upgrade them with Bren guns or with grenades? He's got a bit of ammunition they're floating about, and certainly either way though, the sections would benefit from it. In fact, we got our answer. It is in fact weapon rack, so there we go. Bren guns are plenty. It's also certainly the more standard choice, but you know, some players will go for grenades. North bit of skirmishing. Valentine tank are ready to move once more here for the Commonwealth. Acehiro, the all continues to be constrained here by the aggressive actions of Kobal, and of course the fact he's got a tank, even if it's like, you know, not the biggest or meanest tank, it nonetheless remains a tank. So when your opponent doesn't have a tank, you know, a tank is still much better than no tanks. Also there, take MG-34 Jäger taking 5 there, got to come down to go down the Valentine tank. It does gain veterans 1 here. Second shot there misses. Probably should get the Valentine tank out of there soon before it gets some more shots in on it. Could cost him the Valentine tank. suppose the question is, will we actually be going for the sextons, since, you know, that can allow this one to fire some extra artillery off there with that one. So there's certainly some utility there. For Kobal, and of course also the smoke screen ability, which is quite good on the Valentine tank as well here. Though typically rather overlooked by the average British player. If they, of course, even go for the command in the first place, as by now, the meta game for the British is very much centered around, you know, tactical support and the raid sections. Example, there you go. Almost getting up the Raketnev again here. Really harsh blows here to Acehiro. Almost got the Raketnev again. Valentine tank there. Vilshanka 2, 10 kills. That said, almost getting knocked out here. Vilshanka that gets wrecked here by Acehiro's Raketnev for that. Good work. Obviously, we can get to Vilshanka free with the Valentine tank here. But it's certainly doing fairly good work here for Kobal so far. Fairly good work. As for Acehiro, Schwerer Panzer Corps, of course, authorized. Bit a while to go for him to go for the tank, but at that point, you know, Panther 4 Molgate would certainly be a problem there for Kobal's Valentine. And crucially, it's worth noting, Kobal has yet to take up. So he doesn't really have, like, any medium armor to that hit back with. There we go, another Panzer strike here in the Valentine tank. Forcing Kobal's little Panzer there to pull back. In the face of the German onslaught here from Acehiro. Enforcing healing, Schwerer punted quarters there. Remaining silent. Forcing healing here. Info sections there versus the Jaegers. Valentine tank strikes again. Another shot. Another shot. 13 kills, steadily approaching the ace level. Sandbags right, leaving the folks that they exposed. We'll need to retreat them before they get exterminated by the English. We got 379 versus 425. Running into a large throng of Bren gun wielding infantrymen. Acehiro's force is ultimately forced to reposition to positions less exposed. Very fast. There you go, Bahnhand gun there thrown by Otto at the advancing English. Take that! Oh, scheiße, it's an incendiary grenade. Why do you even have these? Why can't we just like get proper grenades and actually explode? I don't get it either. These things are actually surprisingly rare, you know. Anyways, machine gun there section in the center. We got ambulance on the way there for Kobal. Sturmpionier versus the infantry section. Racing in there, good shot from the Panzer there on the Valentine tank here, but it charges in there for the British Empire, the Commonwealth, straight into the Raketnev, landing a great hit there and forcing Kobal to once more get his Valentine the hell out of there. Still no attack for Kobal. Meanwhile, Acehiro is in the position to push for the Panther 4 Model J now. More Bren guns up for Kobal. I imagine he's going to be going for another 6-pounder gun then to deal with any potential Panzers here from Acehiro and the 9th SS Panzer Division. Panther 4 there on the way. Fun fact by the 9th and the 10th SS Panzer Divisions, but they'd actually been ordered to detach their reconnaissance battalions to the 17th SS Panzergrenadier Division Götz von Berlichingen, which I imagine was a way to, shall say, try and bolster up the division, which was always considered very raw and actually didn't have a lot of training. So by attaching some more veteran elements to it, I imagine the sort of German higher command figured maybe they could sort of, you know, squeeze a bit of experience that way into the division. So, little fun fact there. Little fun fact. Halfway to the east, they're racing southwards pretty rapidly. Panther 4 Model almost done there for Acehiro. That's a lot of sections with a lot of Bren guns. There you go, Panzerkampfwagen 4 aus von Jod, gefechtsbereit here for Acehiro. Of course, at the Pinout machine gun there on top. Still no tech for Kobal. Trenches up north that disrupt a bit here by probing German troops. Yeah, both units in control here of Kobal is a particular problem here for Acehiro. Of course, that said, there's a slight advantage that Kobal still hasn't really taken up. But there you go, with the arrival of the Panther 4 Model J, Kobal is very much forced to take up there because it's only kind of fought to wait around there in the face of an advancing German Panzer 4. North here, fresh fighting erupts here between Kobal and Acehiro. trying to gain the northern victory point here as Kobal continues an otherwise very effective triple cap bleed here on Acehiro. Jaeger's moving more in the center, got the Panther running about here. That's a weird bug. Like, I have the Panther select, but it's showing me everything else from the Jaeger squad plus mixed in with the Panther 4, so it can sprint. It has a G43 sniper upgrade. That's the first time I've seen that one. Using the Valentine tank there for a bit of reconnaissance. Shots fired at the Volksgrenadiere. Sturm been advancing through the south. We got a light infantry shots there for Acehiro, obviously realizing he needs some artillery here versus Kobal. As for Kobal, we got anvil tactics. Now that's definitely not one you'd expect to see here. That's more like, you know, typically hammer tactics for the Comet, but Kobal might in fact be planning for the Churchill tank. Is definitely quite interesting. Lots of trench there for Kobal. Looks like he's just going to go for the attritional approach now here versus Acehiro. I mean, he can hold all the victory points, dig in. It can actually be difficult for the orbital commands to like really dig out the Brit player there. There you go, going for the anti-tank on here. Acehiro sensing weakness from Kobal, charges in there for Deutschland, going for the Valentine tank with the Panther 4 and the anti-tank gun there. There we go, got the anti-tank crew and can destroy that before Kobal crew. That could be pretty painful there for Kobal. He does recruit again, but in front of the Panther 4, it's with the machine gun, the main gun. Can actually clear out the crew and theoretically fast enough again. But there you go, Valentine tank flanking the Panther 4. The Kevner flanking the Valentine tank. Panther 4 gets knocked out here. Ultimately, Acehiro fails probably enough supporting for the Panther 4 to really make this work, of course, with plenty of trenches, with sections and Bren guns nearby. It's obviously going to be difficult no matter what for Acehiro to support that Panther 4. Still, close call there. He did get the Valentine tank, but a Panther 4 for Valentine tank just isn't a great trade-off. So right now, Acehiro, while he did make some progress, has also left himself, I think, fairly exposed to like a good counterattack here from Kobal. The question, of course, is what will include? I'm guessing Churchill tanks. Further up north, this section moving in here. Got the light infantry shots joining in the fighting. Combining this section in the trench, pushing it out. More trenches being dug. Lots of trenches, partly because they also double as, well, tank traps in the game. I actually think one of the features mentioned for Company's Fleet is actually tanks can traverse trenches in Company's Fleet, so that's nice. That is very nice, since actually trenches could be traversed by tanks. Obviously, in fact, a trick tank cruise could do would actually drive onto the trench and then do a 90-degree turn, I believe, or sort of 180-degree turn, basically causing the trench to collapse doing that. But anyways, up north this section is the Volksgrenadiers here. Our way, though, lots of trenches here from Kobal. Digging in hard, and can soon go for the Churchill infantry tank here versus Acehiro. There we go. And with just the cannon for the Panther trick, that's going to be fairly tough here for Acehiro to deal with. So there's certainly a logic here to Kobal going for the Churchill tank when you think about it. But it's certainly not what I think the average British player would have done, and they've just gone straight for the Comet. But it's skirmishes in the south here. Churchill tanks led arriving here for Kobal and the British Empire. Smoke screen being deployed to allow Acehiro's men to grab the center victory point here. He needs to stop the bleeding here from Kobal, or risk getting crushed. Skirmishing continuing in the south here. The Jaegers trying to beat out the English there with their marksman rifle. Churchill tank right around the corner for Kobal. Got the center. And we got a Yak Panzer Acehiro. That will certainly prove to be very handy versus the Churchill tank. Very handy indeed, due to its good rate of fire and penetration and range. There we go. Churchill tank ready for Kobal. The Mark 7 infantry tank. Oh, there's Mark 7 of the Churchill tank. There are a lot of versions of them. This being one of the later versions with the 75mm cannon. This early models actually did not mount a particularly big gun, which the British were quick to rectify. I'll wait, Churchill rolling forwards. Got the tank commander there added. North here. Grab the point there. Sturmpioneer looking through the section there. Could try and occupy the trench here to fight better against a Churchill tank, but at this point maybe too late. Yak Panzer ready. Churchill tank diving forwards here for the British Empire. There we go, Sturmpini around it. Panzer 6, they're flying all over the place, nothing really hitting. Another miss there, occupying the trench, but loses several men there to a shot from the Churchill tank there, right as they stand at the entrance. Jagdpanzer arriving here for Acehiro, and Deutschland going straight for that Churchill tank. Looks like it up north here, fighting here for the northern victory point. We got 243 versus 412. Kobal continue to have an impressive lead over Acehiro here. Trenches being, sections being burned out here. Jagdpanzer going for the Churchill tank here, going for the flank. There you go. Shot bounces there from its high velocity 7mm gun, which in the actual war basically had the same performance as that of the Panther. In game, they toned it down a bit. Jagdpanzer misses again, but the shots also missing the Jagdpanzer. Misses again. Jagdpanzer this time that gets a penetrating hit in the Churchill tank. Another shot there in the Churchill tank, but another by the appearances either bounce or miss. Acehiro remains under intense pressure from Kobal, and the victory points continue to very much favour Kobal and the 11th Armoured Division. And we got here, early warning here from Kobal, giving a bit of reconnaissance. We also got the Southern victory point falling into the British Army. Jagdpanzer could of course do some light repairs here. Lekena finding up the Churchill tank here, putting some very large rocket ship holes into it. North here filters the Vista section, pushing ahead here for Deutschland. Churchill tank quickly being pressed back into action here versus Acehiro to ensure it doesn't make too much progress. And we got an artillery strike called in.
We've lost an anti-tank gun.
Where is it called in? Whoops, looks like around here. Go. Concentration barrage. Not entirely sure we called it in there though. Fighting for the southern field point here, we got 185 versus 412. Things could be starting to get more and more desperate here for Acehiro as he's running out of victory points against Kobal. Pulsing northwards here. 6-pounder gun there for Kobal. Go to the section there, quickly trying to burn them up. We actually just a swift retreat there from Kobal. Interesting enough, couldn't like switch from cover. That could have worked out fairly well there, but I guess Kobal just figured that wasn't worth it. Churchill tank being fixed up. Advancing on the centre there for Deutschland. Also on the southern victory point. Very good. They sounds like 156 was the 412. Kobal continue to enjoy a hell of a lead here at Acehiro. Enforcing healing there. Quiet here as Acehiro just advances. He's got the southern trench there occupied. And Goliaths for Acehiro. Oh my, this feels like a bit of desperation. He's like looking to unorthodox solutions. I mean, not necessarily a bad idea. Like if Kobal just gets reckless, try and close out faster. Goliaths could get some good kills in Kobal. But certainly, it's not what you still typically see in a lot of situations. Like most players, I think will save up here for the sector assault and try to utilise that. But I think Acehiro has realised even if he does that, it's going to quickly get just shorted out by a Centaur then from Kobal. See, I guess he's just trying to bet on Goliath instead. Of course, there might be some other logic here from Acehiro I'm not aware of, but that's sort of just sort of what I like at face value could suggest as possibilities. Pushing forwards here, got the Goliath on the southern point. I was looking to prevent him from just walking up and grabbing it again. Machining about there in the centre right in time to counter a section advance here from Kobal. In the south here, Sappers versus the Sturmpini. We got the Churchill tank moving in here as well. And Otto, the Attapats, fires the Panzerschreck at the Sappers rather than the Churchill tank. Otto! You fired at the wrong target with the Panzerschreck. I'm sorry. It's my first day at the job. No, it's not. You've been here since Dunkirk, you idiot. Scheiße. Anyways, what's the sections here? North Air Point grabbed. Jagdpanzer getting hit there by British artillery. Further suppressing and frustrating Acehiro's defense against the British onslaught. Goliath remains there, ready to blow up any Englishman. We'll go for more Goliaths. I will be setting up for the sector assault now. Hard to say here. That's what Kobal is planning next. Maybe it's just more Churchill tanks. I mean, 2 Churchill tanks could be a rather large amount to chew off here for Acehiro. There could also be a Jagdpanzer, or Firefly, I mean. Jagdpanzer. There you go, good shot from the Jagdpanzer on the Churchill tank here. They're obviously It's going to need a lot more shots to take it down. A lot more shots. Northern victory point remains in the hands here of Acehiro, but he's down 144, 43. And the pressure is increasing once more on Acehiro's northern front line here as Kobal's moving in to evict any Germans in the locale. Following up here with the Panther 4 Model J. Acehiro knows he needs more armor. As for Kobal, there seems to be no greater imperative there for now. 6-pounder gun sniper got the Yak Panzer 4, taking some good hits in on that one. Goliath remains there. Yak Panzer causing it repairs. Another smoke screen here, though crucially, no infantry in time to really exploit that, so I don't know if that makes sense. Northern Victor, they're falling once more to Kobal and the British Empire. Panzer 4 almost done. No indicator of anything from Kobal. We do get some trenches directly onto the victory point here, making use of the smoke actually deployed by Acehiro. Though I think the troops here should be able to disrupt it in time, since otherwise getting that victory point back is going to be even tougher. And we got the same here close to the northern victory points. Kobal obviously just at this point going for a steady defensive attritional strategy here with Acehiro. And I think he's definitely making a good read on Acehiro that he tends to overfocus on the center. That's why he's having all of the trenches here compared to like north or the south, because while Acehiro does make pushes there, it's less heavy. So for the most part, I imagine Kobal figures he just needs like one section, maybe a mine or two to like hold those points. And so far, it would appear he's very much correct.
They have 100 points remaining.
Less than 100 points left for Acehiro. Part of this, of course, is like, you know, if Acehiro wants to like defend 2 points, easily he's going to need the center and then one of the other 2 points. So it's also, I think, just, you know, very sensible tactical read here overall from Kobal. Of course, Acehiro could try and defend the 2 in more extreme points, but that's going to be in some regards much tougher because you can't bring reinforcements then easily from one point to the other. So artillery up north point here to make it harder for Acehiro to grab. We got quickly entrenched Jaegers here. Sappers there being shot at. Yak Panzer rushing in. They're bouncing a shot here from the 6-pounder gun. We got the Panther 4 arriving here. Acehiro going in the offense now versus Kobal, charging in for Deutschland. Sections being crushed here. The assault is on and they're unleashing the Luftwaffe. The sector assault is called in on here against Kobal. Churchill tank here taking hits with the Panther 4 and the Yak Panzer 6-pounder gun almost dead. Units being wiped out here. The assault is on. Kobal there clearly not ready. He's going for a Firefly. Kanonenvogel shredding here the Churchill tank from above. Churchill tank down to half health here. Yak Panzer diving in there. Veterans one achieved. Shot bounces. Southern point. You can see the British being pushed back a bit there. Could also rush the center maybe. Continues the push here. Churchill tank push into the base here. Entrenched sections there. Could be pushed off by the Panther 4 here. We'll have to see. Troops been forcing healing here. Firefly almost done. But that was a pretty good push here by Acehiro against Kobal. Threw morph and got some good kills in. And crucially removed that anti-tank gun. Got the northern victory point almost there. In the south, standoff continues. Police has got 1 victory point. He does at least freeze the bleeding in terms of victory points. Churchill going in again here, though maybe careful he doesn't get spotted again by the Luftwaffe and set upon by the sector assault ability. Firefly ready here for Kobal and the British Empire. Yak Panzer being rolled forward here steadily. Sappers on the way for Kobal. Got 55 here, that's the 364. Standoff continues in the south. The Hulk's going for... Gonna make run for it. And they hit the trench. Oh, the mine hitting the trench. Destroying it. Panther 4 being fixed up. Fresh smoke screen, fresh push here. Trench destroyed by the Yak Panzer. Firefly moving up. There you go. Good shot on the Yak Panzer with a 17-pounder gun. We got the northern trench there and the northern victory point by extension. Guarded here by the Jaegers. Then we got artillery raining down death from above here. Kobal doing everything he can to keep that hand or the point out of German hands. A lot of explosions here. A lot of explosions. Folks close being wiped out here by the sheer amount of artillery being deployed on them. Never mind all the Bren gun fire here. And in comparison, Acehiro's got like a light infantry gun to match like the 2 25-pounder guns. Bit of a gap there, to put it gently. Bit of a gap. Yak Panzer there being fixed up. Goliath still disting nothing in the southern field point. Fresh trench here by the southern point. We got 44 versus 364. The clock is taking on Acehiro here. Not in his favour. Yak Panzer creeping up again. Fresh trenches here from Kobal. Sending grenade in the section. Panther moving up. Trenches being reoccupied. We got artillery again here from Kobal. Got plenty of missions saved up so you can just keep popping concentration values against Acehiro in the center. Again, further pointing out the hazards of Acehiro just committing too much to the center there. Got another push in the south, but again, we got the trench this time, though the mine. The folks should be able to clear them up and then send a grenade, I think. If he remembers to pop it, of course. If he doesn't, then these folks are going to get murdered harder. Sturmpion, they almost wiped out. Really close call here. There we go. Brandhunter on the section, and if Kobal then forgets, the section going to get wiped. There you go. Routed. Small win there, tactically phase here. We've got 27 there versus 364. Getting ever closer here for Acehiro to be pushed over the precipice and into the abyss of Englishness. I've heard, Otto, if you stay into the abyss for too long, it asks you for tea. Oh, shut up, Fritz. Anyways, Churchill almost got knocked up with the Arc Punch, which is close to 52 here. Very close. Deploying smoke here to cover the retreat, but will it be enough here against Acehiro? Looks like it will be. But there you go. Got the 3 victory points back under his control with only 25 points left. Close call here for Acehiro. And Kobal still has a fairly large reserve, though. He's also got plenty of saps to quick repair his arm up with. Surprisingly, he hasn't actually upgraded. Just all the missions went to, like, the artillery, so they didn't upgrade them to heavy engineers. Perhaps intentional, and he perhaps doesn't think it's worth slowing them down, but at the same time, the increased repair speed and the Vickers K could also provide some benefits to Kobal. With the more defensive strategy he went for anyways, so arguably perhaps should have gone for it anyways, but oh well. Firefly fixed up here. What will Kobal do next? As Acehiro, of course, is very quick to occupy the trenches left behind by Kobal against him. Panther could do some repairs. Yak Panther, of course, as well. Bit more forward position, making use of the cautious movement to set up a little ambush there against any advancing English armor.
Churchill here. Where do you want us?
Quieting in. Kobal has no intention of rushing in. What is this? He's laying down more trenches. Ha. Is he expecting the opponent to move? Or is there some kind of logic behind this I'm not aware of? I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, he's digging in there. He is digging in. I'm guessing he's expecting his opponent to like make a move there to push further towards his base, but the problem is, with the few victory points Acehiro's got left, he's not exactly incentivized to get closer here to Kobal's base. Like, one mistake could easily cost him the match because, you know, Kobal then rushes all 3 victory points then, and then he just loses, so... I'm not entirely sure what the logic behind this is for Kobal. Anyways, Panther on the way for Acehiro and the German army. 25 is 270. Bit short there. Panther roughly halfway done. Panther moving up. Sappers sections advancing. Got Sully called in again here. Kobal doing what he can to blast out the Germans. Those vile Huns. In the south, he thinks he's forced to abandon the points, but there you go. Goliath moved in to defend it. I guess. Defend but boob choke. Yak Punch game 2 here. Ken flying up. Churchill tank charges in here. Panther 4 ripping into the advancing Englishmen here. Lighting for gun there. Needs to fall back here as Kobal and the British Empire comes swinging. Yak Panther down to less than half health here as Kobal's armored assault here keeps up the pace here. Panther's arrived here in the south. Goliath set off. Did nothing there. Machine gun cleared out here. Another blow there to Acehiro. This line has already broken under the sundering blows of Kobal. He's lost 2 victory points here. He's only got 1 up in the north here. Panthers charging in there for Deutschland. Immediately initiating a counterattack here against the British Schwein. Right into the sapper though, an anti-tank. We do actually now get them upgraded to the heavy sappers. Thumbs up. Sturm Pioneer will be busy repairing stuff. In fact, if he has the manpower to spare, I certainly would recommend more Sturm Pioneer to expedite the repairs. Sections the focus on the center victory point. We got 21. That's 238 here. 20. Acehiro ever closer here. Firefly there being fixed up. In this case, I'd probably recommend the Panther 4 and the Panther and leave the Jagdpanzer for last, because that's going to take the most. Well, not that it particularly matters as long as you just focus on something. And gets it fixed fast. Kobal going in for another push here, I imagine, versus Acehiro. Perhaps he's going to consider a slightly different angle this time around against Acehiro than, you know, straight head on. Maybe a slightly more angle from the north. Could clear out the northern victory point. He could also try and launch an assault from the south, attacking here from Acehiro from an angle he probably isn't expecting at all. I mean, there's just not really been a lot of action here, so probably not a lot of mines. In theory, it's like a good push from there could be quite disastrous for Acehiro as well. You can see that again, he's just taking in more and more. He's expecting another head-on assault, so if Kobal acquiesces to this, this will certainly be the most beneficial to Acehiro, unless there's some other counter surprise here, like really awkward RNG or something there for Acehiro. And we got here, oh, we actually got for the Fatherland, and it's actually used correctly here in a very rare site, like, you know, well timed for, like, you know, absorb a British assault here. Thumbs up to Acehiro, wow. There you go, the assault is commencing here. The 11th Armoured moves ahead for the British Empire. Machine gun everything into them. Recruit Jagdpanzer tank to the Churchill tank here. The assault is running into this for Acehiro, or Kobal. Acehiro so far gaining part, I think, thanks for the Fatherland, but also just everything else and all the other preparations. Absorbing the assault fairly well here. Again, it is a very narrow attack here on the centre here, which certainly makes it easy to some degree here for Acehiro to absorb it. Machine gun sections, all that armour is definitely helping here. South here, Panther clinching a bit with the Firefly, the Churchill tank here. Centre victory point claimed here the British. No one remains untouched. 20 versus 216 here. It's an absolute charnel house in the center. The corpses are piling up. Bren guns are being left behind in the muck. There we go, reclaiming the Bren guns with the sappers. Apparently heavy sappers can have 2 Bren guns up the Vickers case. They actually get 3 machine guns. That's quite a few machine guns. Churchill tank, they're charging in. They're near the ace level. There go, more Bren guns dropping. Got the machine gun wiped out again. We got 14 versus 216 here. Churchill tank, though, ripped apart here. Flanked by the Panther, engaged with the Jagdpanzer on plus the Panther 4 here. Brandhand Granada off there, troops being rushed in. Panther, Jagdpanzer going here for the Firefly. Panther is already heavily damaged. Panther 4 dashing in for Deutschland. Jagdpanzer caught in the Church tank. Got 10 points left here. He's rushing in everything again to the center victory point just to keep it out of German hands, no matter the cost, no matter the body count. We got 8 points, 7 points left here. More troops being rushed in here. Kobal is seeing only victory at a, again, a very, very steep butcher's price. If he wins, he wins. But if he loses here, if he doesn't get the point, he is very much lost. There you go, 4 points left. He's lost pretty much everything else. 3 points. 2 points. 1 point. 1 point. And he actually managed to stop it. Like, he managed to actually dispatch some forces northwards as well. He probably would have won here. But again, he got so focused in the center here that Acehiro was able to, like, you know, just tough it out here and punish Kobal there for, quite frankly, reckless rush. And now, suddenly, Kobal is the one on the losing end here. Most of his forces are gone, and Acehiro stands supreme. But what an absolute meat grinder. And there you go, GG, game over. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. I learned something from it. Hope it gave you some matches. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. Consider donating or Patreon page, and of course, pre-ordering comments for you with the link in the comments. This is Imperial Lynching. Cheers, and see you all tomorrow for another episode. Bye.